What is up, and welcome back to 24 Minutes of A24, the podcast that takes a look at the A24 library 24 minutes at a time. I am Ethan Simi.
And I'm Ben Lawhorn. This week on the pod, we are discovering our inner artists and just feasting on the free cheese as we talk about Kelly Reichardt's latest film, Showing Up.
Don't eat the cheese. Don't put out the cheese if you don't want people to eat the cheese, Ben. A sculptor preparing to open a new show tries to work amidst the daily dramas of family and friends. Spoiler warning ahead for Kelly Reichardt's newest movie, Showing Up. This is something that we've wanted to tackle for a while on the pod. Mm-hmm. Honestly, we wanted to do it when it came out last year. We didn't get the chance to do it. We talked about First Cow like a handful of weeks ago, and I'm sure that we'll talk about First Cow tonight in the pod as well, seeing as it's also directed by Kelly Reichardt. But yeah, I liked this movie. Before we talk about it, I just want to do one housekeeping bit real quick, Ben, for A24. So there is a new, for US All Access A24 members, there's a new app that you can have. It is an A24 app. You download it. It's basically a hub for all kinds of really, really cool things. You can get free tickets to like screeners and fan events, exclusive first looks at movies. There's like an update feed kind of a thing, tons of behind the scenes stuff of new movies and old, bonus content. And then they have like a built-in library essentially where you can look up any A24 movie and it shows you where you can buy it or rent it, which is just super, super helpful. Yeah. Have you had a chance to try the app out yet? What do you think of it?
Yeah, I've been messing around with it. It's pretty cool. It's nice that in the library also is they have a lot of what I love about physical media. A lot of the featurettes that come with the movies, so you can just kind of watch the behind the scenes stuff, and I think that's pretty awesome. Obviously, like you said, the free tickets is cool. They did it early for the members. They get to go see Talk to Me next week on the 19th. Unfortunately for some of us, that's a button up against the Barbie blowout, so we got a decision to make. But I think that's pretty cool that they're kind of doing that stuff, and really they're kind of incentivizing the members. And I think that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, you and I have been A24 members since the start, since like literally day one.
Yeah.
They announced this program and they were like, hey, you're going to get a zine every like 2 months. And maybe you'll get cool stuff in the future. And we were like, yeah, fuck yeah. Like that's all it took for us. Obviously we're kind of diehards. But they also did just reveal that all of the, all access A24 members get 10% off any purchase on the entire website, which is incredible considering that they also just tweeted out a hint that Everything Everywhere All at Once is going to be joining the collector's edition library on the A24 shop. I cannot wait. I haven't bought it yet because I knew they would do it sooner rather than later. You're going to have multiple copies, but I'm stoked.
Yeah. Oh, me too. I can't wait. I hope it's one of the big book ones, like they have with Last Black Man and Midsommar and Green Knight. I mean, I love my Marcel Blu-ray, but I wish it was, that big deluxe set, but I feel like they'll probably go all out with Everything Everywhere. And honestly, it's a movie. I mean, as you can see by this poster here, it's a movie I'll be glad to own more than once. I love that. So I'm excited. It'll be a quick purchase for sure.
Yeah, I think it's great. They put out like a survey on their Instagram and pretty much listened to what members had to say, and people wanted a discount, which is super exciting. So check out the A24 app. I think obviously I'm sure that they will improve it as time goes along and more cool things will happen with it. But it seems like a pretty cool thing. And you can sign up to be an all access A24 member. I think just like right on their website, it's like $5 a month. It's super great. And you get the newest zine. You don't even have to worry about like buying it every quarter, which is super nice. And then if A24 wants to pay us to say this, that'd be great as well. So, you know what?
Even just give us a free membership. Yeah. You don't have to pay us. Just like,
love it.
Yeah. Grandfather said, this is not on our notes and we didn't talk about this beforehand, but I do just want to say, we also got a trailer for a new movie, Medusa Deluxe.
Yes.
Which I'm just like super stoked on. It looks so cool. It looks like this, like a John Waters murder mystery or something. Like, I don't know, like all the hair, all the, like whatever's going on in there. I loved the trailer. I'm super excited about it. Like I said, I didn't tell you that I was going to talk about this, but I just want to mention it because like, I thought it was a great trailer. It's a movie that I don't think we had any idea about, like A24 has for being released in 2023, they just have like random movies that are there with no dates. And this felt like one that just kind of got dropped on us, kind of the same as like Earth Mama and Problemista. It's these things that just come out of nowhere. It's like, oh shit, okay, this is coming out. So that's why we got to stay on our toes with our schedule, because we never know what's happening. But I'm super excited for Medusa Deluxe. Like in the trailer at the end, it's like available for everyone on whatever, like August 11th or something like that. So
beginning of
I
August.
don't know what that means exactly, like how it's going to get released, but it's a movie I'm excited to watch. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun.
I totally agree. I'm excited for it. I will say the trailer kind of gave me like just the smallest hints of like climax vibes. And I was like, oh man, we're running around in like a confined area, kind of losing our minds. And this is going to be pretty fun.
Yeah.
I think it looks great. I did notice that as well, that it said like available everywhere, or like for everyone in the beginning of August. So I am curious. I'm curious if that's just like a nod to like, hey, we're just doing a nationwide release. Like that, we're not going to do a Past Lives. We're not going to do a Marcel.
Maybe,
we're not going to like spread it out, start in New York, LA, work to other markets. It's going to take 6 weeks to get to your city. I wonder if it's just like straight away, like theaters nationwide. I'd be curious to see that for sure. And, I'm excited. New movies are always great from A24. And like you said, they're just like dropping movies kind of out of nowhere, which is really fun. And, keeps us on our toes for the pod. So it gives 100%. New stuff to do. Okay. I think that's all the A24 housekeeping I have. Do you have any other stuff before we talk about Showing Up?
Not that I can think of. I want to get into this movie.
Okay. Yeah. So let's talk about Showing Up. Like I said, this was released in 2022, directed by Kelly Reichardt. It stars Michelle Williams, Hong Chow, Andre 3000, and our divine sad boy, John Magaro, and Oscar-nominated Judd Hirsch, which is just unreal cast. That's really what I want to talk about first. I want to talk about this cast. Of course, I want to know what you thought of the movie, but also like it is a little startling how many like Oscar-nominated / like really, really popular people are in this movie that I feel like just kind of nobody has seen at all.
Yeah, it is stacked. It's got a lot of wonderful people, and obviously like also a lot of wonderful people that we haven't even heard of before, that we're seeing for the first time. But I mean, Michelle Williams is just like a delight. I guess this is her reunion with Judd Hirsch, from Fabelmans last year, which is kind of cool. I imagine they probably shot this around the same time. But yeah, Hong Chow was super good. I enjoy Andre 3000 as an actor. I haven't seen him in a ton of things. I don't know if you ever saw the movie Four Brothers with Wahlberg. He's in that. But I mean, I'm a big Outkast fan, so I was just stoked to see him. But he's a real like likable, lovable person in this movie. Just like the nicest dude. I mean, something gets a little burned in the kill, and he's like, "No, it's cool. I like that. That's how I prefer it." It's like he's just like positive and just like, yeah, no, it's all good. Like let's roll with the punches. And that's kind of the vibe of this artist commune for the most part. But yeah, wonderful cast. I loved it.
Yeah, absolutely astounding. I liked the movie. I didn't love the movie. I think, and we'll kind of talk about it in context with First Cow as well. But like, I think the one thing, and I said this to my wife Molly earlier today, because she actually started this movie with me last night. She watched it for about halfway, about like 45 or 50 minutes. And then we paused to make dinner. And I was like, I got to finish this movie, or like I can finish it tomorrow. Like you do not need to watch the rest of this. Like I know it's a very slow movie. It's very patient and peaceful and like of the moment. And it's just like not her speed. It's more my speed for sure. But again, like I think I put in my Letterboxd review, like it's just not quite my tempo. Like it's just it's not the thing that like I would really seek out. But this cast, what I did tell her earlier today is like, man, watching Showing Up and seeing all those people kind of just makes me want to watch all of the other movies with all of those other actors. Like it just makes me want to watch The Fabelmans again. It makes me want to watch Past Lives for John Magaro again. Like it makes me want to seek out The Menu for Hong Chow and like go watch these people in other movies that I guess I'm more interested in, if that makes sense. But I think that seeing all of these people in this context and in this space is different and fascinating and worked well to just be like, man, these are some great actors,
Yeah, it felt like, it really shows the importance of the actors and who you hire, because Michelle Williams specifically, to me, like, just give a knockout performance. Like, I thought she was wonderful in this. But yeah, she was wonderful in a movie that, like, I don't know if I'm ever going to go back to. It's the thing when she comes up, like, oh man, she was really good in that. But the movie itself it was kind of slow for me specifically. I was coming off of, I just watched the original West Side Story, which is just fucking dancing and colors and music and singing. Like, it is like in your face. It's 2.5 hours of just like vibrance and just all this kind of shit. And then just to put this on, I was like, oh, this is a very muted PCH, like, you know what I mean? Like, this is just like the Pacific Coast, like Portland, just chill. People are wearing flannel and like putting shit in kilns and painting and stuff. Like, oh, this is not the 1960s Manhattan with the jets and the sharks. So it was quite the change for sure. And it just maybe emphasized it even more coming off of that movie. But I do think everyone did a really good job. I am curious if it wasn't people that I cared about as far as actors, how much I would have enjoyed this movie. Because I do like Hong Chow. I do like John Magaro. I like all these people. So watching this movie was like, oh, that's cool. Yeah, these people are great. But if it was all newcomers, I don't know. I don't know how I would have felt about it. I may not have given it as much attention as it deserved, But yeah, I don't know. It was fine. I don't know. I'm glad that we watched it. It's interesting hearing from some people it's like their favorite movie that came out, it's just like, oh, okay, interesting. Like, that's cool. Like, obviously art's subjective, and I'm glad people really liked this movie. It definitely captured a lifestyle, it kind of felt like that. And, it kind of reminded me of like being in bands in my early 20s, and some of those people were really living that life where it was just like check to check, and just, it's like, oh, I don't have any hot water and I've got no money. Like, I'm eating ramen for like the 40th night, like that kind of a thing, but they're doing what they want to be doing, and like, that's cool. That's great. And that's kind of what that whole commune vibe felt like. But it was fun to also just like, I don't know, the complaints about the water heater, just all that stuff that kept coming up. And, like, oh, I don't have any money. I don't have money to buy my cat dinner or whatever. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna go spend $150 to take care of this bird. It's like, okay, all right. But also knowing exactly how much money that food costs, it's like,
right.
And yeah, I don't know. I thought it was cool. But yeah, I don't know when I'll revisit it, but I'm glad that we watched it.
Yeah, I am glad that we watched it for sure. I think you make a lot of valid points. It is absolutely a wonderful encapsulation of Portland. It was filmed here in Portland, which is where I live. So it was cool, like, seeing that vibe. The guests that stay on like Judd Hirsch's in his house and on his couch are lovely. Like, they were one of the highlights of the movie for me, just because I think they were some of the more comedic bits that were funnier to me.
It's fun to see old Honey Bunny from
I know.
Pulp Fiction, like, oh shit, that's her. That's awesome.
I love that. And so, like, they did provide a sense of levity to it. I think my one, like, biggest critique is probably that it just felt a little heavy-handed in terms of like the pigeon and like the hot water heater, and like the reoccurring thematic elements were like that, we're trying to illustrate and display like, this is the life of an artist, or like, this is a life of commitment, and this is sometimes like what you have to sacrifice. And the pigeon with the broken wing, at least to me, like, really illustrated Lizzie, that's Michelle Williams' character, like her ability to figure out how to do stuff on her own, and like how to have that drive. And we get to the very end, and the pigeon is healed and set free at the same time that Lizzie is having a show and her whole family is there, and it feels like a moment of success that is long earned and deserved. So I get it. It felt a little bit much. I thought the pigeon was pretty funny. I did like how Michelle Williams like would talk to the pigeon and really cared about it. And there's just something really fascinating about the character that she plays, and so insular, like trying to understand her thought process to her everyday things, and even how she approaches like work, telling her mom that who she works for, like, I'm going to take a personal day, and that being a very awkward conversation, and all of these kinds of things. It is very Kelly Reichardt, obviously. It's very moment and day, and like just very minuscule things that make up the life of somebody. So I think it's got some pros. I definitely don't think it's for everybody. And it is absolutely just, I think, just like a good movie. And nothing more than that. I did want to ask, so we covered First Cow a handful of weeks ago. That also has John Magaro in it, also directed by Kelly Reichardt.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite? Do you prefer First Cow or Showing Up, or are they kind of in the same realm?
I think I would take First Cow for sure. That one was also a surprise to me. I don't know what my expectations were going into it, but I know they were kind of low, and then just ended up really loving that movie. So yeah, I think I would go with First Cow over this. Not again that I like never want to rewatch this. Like, it's not something, if someone else wanted to watch it, I would watch it with them. You know, I don't know when I'm going to pick it. Whereas First Cow, I think at some point I, on my own, will go back and revisit because I really enjoyed John Magaro's performance and just like the story there. So yeah, again, I didn't dislike this by any means, but it's just not something I'm drawn to, you know?
I do think I'm team First Cow as well. I think John Magaro doesn't get a lot in Showing Up, and I was like kind of looking forward to him being in there based on the trailer. He is like the main character in First Cow, and he makes biscuits, which is pretty hard to beat. And talks to a cow. So like there's that, you know, which is really wonderful about that movie. I do think he's pretty sublime in this movie, to be honest with you. I think he's really, again, pretty insular and just another person of that family of Lizzie and her family, like that might be a genius, but also like might be off their rocker depending on how you view them, and seeing like what they achieve. Like he's just digging holes in his backyard and he's like, I have a big project I'm working on. It's like, are you okay, dude? Like, are you sure? And the fact that he can go on like a 7-minute monologue about how watching The Twilight Zone is better when you don't know the next episode instead of owning a box set. Lovely stuff from Magaro.
Yeah, I think it reiterates that there's a thin line between genius and insanity. You know, it's just like, I don't know where he falls, you know, but it's definitely somewhere in there.
I also think Michelle Williams and Hong Chow had a really like interesting juxtaposition. Hong Chow's character Joe definitely has more of that kind of innate nature to be successful, to put on her own shows, to, you know, build a tire swing, to like do things that she wants to do that Lizzie sees, and it definitely makes life harder for Lizzie, I think, because she can't accomplish those things. But then again, like if you look at Joe, she only puts energy into things that personally benefit her. It's like, it's literally like Jerry from Succession, like, how does this benefit me? Right? Where like Lizzie every single day is asking her, when are you going to put on my hot water? And she's like, yeah, I'll get to it. She has time. She can do it. And she just doesn't, because that's not within her vision. So I do think it illustrates some very interesting ideas of like how people choose to spend their time and like how people choose to feel purposeful about what they do. And that goes for Judd Hirsch's character and John Magaro and, you know, pretty much everybody in the movie, which I think is a very fascinating point. Do you want to do True Cinema so we can start going through the whole movie here?
Yeah, let's get into it.
Okay, sounds good. I also wanted to give a quick shout out to, I was trying to figure out who the mom was. Marion Plunkett is really good in this movie as well. I think everybody like individually is really fun. Okay, first on the True Cinema, I have this student showing Eric, so Andre 3000's character, this like Velcro knitted bodysuit that she made. She's like, 1 year of my life, and like it made this whole bodysuit and uses Velcro. And again, you mentioned, but like Eric is so happy. He's just like, this is incredible. I'm so happy you made this, and I'm so happy that this brings you joy. Andre 3000 alone has a super infectious smile. So anytime he smiles on screen, I feel a little bit more joyful. I thought this was a really funny scene to it doesn't lead off the movie, but it is definitely one of the first more noticeable moments.
I mean, I love that suit, man. I thought that thing was awesome.
Sick. So cool.
It was so cool. So yeah, this scene is great. And again, it kind of just reiterates this kind of artistic, I don't know if it's a commune. I guess it's kind of a school of sorts, whatever. But yeah, there those like interpretive dance classes, and just like that teacher who's critiquing all the pots and whatever, you know, like this really speaks to me, or this is like too polished or whatever, you know. It's kind of an interesting aspect. But I think Andre 3000, that character, is the perfect person to have there, just very encouraging of everybody.
I like too how we do get that introduction to the school, the college. I believe it was an actual like Oregon college for arts that closed down in 2019 due to the pandemic, which was I guess is a pretty big blow for like that community, of course. But I liked how Kelly Reichardt takes her time with every single thing in the movie. Like, we're not rushed to move on. We're just very free flowing with how we're sitting with and interpreting certain scenes. One of those being this like kind of pseudo montage of like seeing all the different art that everybody does. And again, it's just about what people find joy in and how they express what's in their minds. And we get a little bit of that from Andre 3000's character at the very end, with him talking about like being in a state of flow and like he can do no wrong when he's making his art, right? And I think that's ultimately kind of what this is about. Next on the list is Lizzie saying things usually get done, just not on time. And this is in reference to basically her sculpting her kind of her characters, her women, her people that she makes. And Joe stops by her garage studio and they just kind of start talking. But I thought it was really poignant and interestingly phrased from her character, because it's just kind of really fucking true. Like, things get done, they just usually don't get done on time. And that's just like how life goes, you know? And that's, doesn't matter how much drive you have. That's just kind of it, right? And in Joe's case, it's the hot water heater. Like, it'll get done. It's just not getting done on time. And it's just, it's how you prioritize.
And it's also interesting hearing it from someone who presumably still has hot water, because she said that she invited Joe to come use her shower. And Joe's like, that's not the point. Or no, Lizzie's like, that's not the point. Like, I want to enjoy my own shower. But Joe's like, I mean, you can come use mine. It's like, okay, so this isn't a concern for her. She's really focused on her showings and things like that. But that is, just to speak quickly to the art, like, I did enjoy that. All the shots we got, taking our time, kind of looking at the paintings and things like that, like really emphasizing with the audience, like everything that's going into this community, into these artists. I thought it was very well done.
Here's the thing. And anytime I usually watch a movie about like a painter or an artist or something like that, I feel like this is generally one of the major takeaways for me is like, I don't get art. It just doesn't, I just don't get it. I don't think. And, you know, I think I've learned to live with that about me. Like, it's just, you know, I'm just not like highfalutin enough to understand. And I do think part of the idea of this movie is like the consistent goodwill nature from everybody around Lizzie is kind of a hindrance to her morale and her personal ability to like hype herself up and be confident in her work. But again, like even Joe's work when she's at her studio or like at her show and it's like all these weavings and stuff. I think it'd be fun to go to our show. I just would be like, wow, I didn't get any of that.
Yeah, wow, that was cool.
That was sick.
Next.
Next on the list, Joe finds the mauled bird. So let's see. Lizzie's cat is named Riley, I think. And walks in on her mauling a pigeon one night, and just kind of like quite a funny part, to be honest. And then the next day, Joe is like, Lizzie, I found this bird. Like, I think a cat mauled it. And like, Lizzie's like, oh, wow, that sounds terrible. I'm like, I wonder who did that. Which I thought was a really good insight into Lizzie's brain of like what she's comfortable sharing and where she kind of draws that line and goes more inward in her life. You know, the bird made a recovery, which is just wonderful. But would you do that for a bird? Would you take a pigeon to the vet, Ben?
Well, no, I don't think I would. And it's funny because like that point kind of comes up throughout the movie where people are like, you know, it's like, oh yeah, I took this bird to the vet. And they're like, a bird? No, it's a pigeon, you know? It's just like,
not a bird.
It's like the rat of birds. It's like, you don't need to take care of a pigeon. We have way too many of them, you know? But like the way they care for it and stuff. And even that one scene, I don't remember the dude's name, but as he's leaving and someone's walking into the building, he's like, Lizzie took a pigeon to the vet. Like, what the hell? Like, you know, I had no idea what was going on. I thought that was kind of funny. He's like, why would you do that? It's a pigeon. And I kind of feel the same way. Like, I mean, if it's a dog or something like that, I'm going to act completely differently. But if it's a pigeon, it's like, I don't know, man. Like, I don't want to get any like bird flu or anything like that. Like, man. I'm sorry. It's like, it's just the circle of life. I don't know what to tell you.
Lizzie's in a tough spot though, because like her personality and the way her mind works, at least the way I interpreted it, that pigeon allows her to have something else to focus on that's not solely her art. And I think that is ultimately beneficial to her to kind of stretch herself a little bit, where she doesn't really have friends outside of, the school, and doesn't really have anybody else that she goes out with. She doesn't host parties like Joe does or any of this stuff. So I can see it being beneficial to her, but yeah, I'm not, look, animals are great. I'm not taking a pigeon to the vet. That's just like a hard no for me. Like RIP the pigeon, but that's nature. So what are you going to do? Another question I have for you pertains to the next segment I have on here. So it's a very fast segment. This guy, it runs back to being a naked model, and we get some dong in this movie, which like A+. Anytime we can get anything is good. More sex in movies. And would you ever do that? Would you ever naked model for like students, at an art school?
I literally cannot picture the amount of money it would take to get me to do that. Like I just don't know what the number would be realistically to get me to do that. Like I don't think there's any way. Like I don't know.
Never gonna happen.
I couldn't do it. Would you do it?
I might do it. I obviously compensation is accepted for sure. And
mandatory accepted. That's mandatory.
It's a necessity. Of course, this is like, I would assume like not a community college, but definitely not like, you're not talking like, crazy dollars here. If you're being the naked model, you're probably just volunteering your time. But yeah, it might be interesting. Again, like it'd take a lot, but I think I'm open to the idea. So I guess if there's any listeners out there that are working on some art, I'm always available. Who knows?
I mean, listen, more respect to you. Nude male modeling, it's for showers, not growers. You know what I mean? Like you can't I just don't know. I don't know, man. That'd be too much for me.
It's true. You're really showing it all to the world, and that could be a big confidence hit. So maybe I'm not ready for that. Okay. Judd Hirsch and his guests. I briefly mentioned this earlier. I love this scene because Lizzie is very concerned about her dad and his guests like eating up his time. And we get this conversation between Lizzie and her dad where he's like, I get up, I do a little bit of this, I do a little bit of that. Before you know it, it's time to watch TV again. And Lizzie's like, that sounds terrible. And he's like, no, it's great. I love my retirement. And again, like some things are just for certain people and some are not. Like, and that's just kind of how it goes. And I think Judd Hirsch was a great person to cast in this role because he totally fits this retired guy who's like pretty content, not really doing anything. He used to make pots and he used to do things, and now he's just chilling with some hippies, having a good time.
I love it. I mean, he's living the dream, do some stuff in the morning and then it's time for movies. Like maybe I'll finally make it through all this physical media I have when I'm retired, It's like, oh, now I can sit around and watch this. So I think he's living the dream.
Big time living the dream.
Other than the guests, those guests were a nightmare. They were funny, but like they'd be a nightmare to have because there's like, hey, you're almost out of coffee. Like, yeah, and 1% milk, And it's like, well, yeah, because you guys keep having midnight cereal or whatever, It's
and the guy's like, she's got me there.
Yeah.
Yeah, she does.
Nothing about like, I'm going to help pitch in or anything. Just like, hey, you got to replace the milk, buddy.
Yeah, pretty good stuff.
Yeah.
A few more here. Intro to Sean, John Magaro's character. We learn that Sean is Lizzie's brother and kind of like a recluse a little bit. Like he doesn't really have a lot going on in his house. The lights are kind of off. He's just having ragu and some white bread for dinner, like a staple, classic. And like the big thing going on in his world is the fact that the neighbors got Channel 4 turned off of his antenna, and he's just kind of like losing his mind about it. And I felt really bad for him. I was like, that's my boy. Don't take away his TV.
That's what he needs. He's just Channel 4, his Twilight Zone, his Hawaii 5-0. He needs his shows.
He does. I thought it was pretty funny also, like when we very first meet him, of course, is like an hour in, and Lizzie stops by and he's like, hey, I'm cooking, and then walks away.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, Yeah, okay, cool. You're cooking on lots of levels here, Magaro.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are indeed. Doesn't offer
good.
her anything either.
No,
just serves
nothing.
himself up, grabs himself a piece of bread, and sits down. It's like, I am an only child, but that does feel like a very brother-sister relationship right there. It's like, if you're hungry, go get your own food.
Pretty cold for sure. And Lizzie does deeply care about him. Sean digging in the back of his backyard. This is kind of the moment where, you realize like, okay, I don't know if he's a genius like Lizzie and Lizzie's mom say, or like, I don't know if he has some serious like social anxieties or whatever it may be, but he starts digging these holes in his backyard that I think is going to like make them look like eyeballs, like coming up from the earth. And he's working on some earth art. He does have a very interesting take on art, and like poetry is the earth speaking, and any physical form of art is like earth art as well. And he tells Lizzie to listen to the silence and what is not being said. And he says, so many people choose not to hear, which admittedly, I feel a bit like his character in this moment, because I'm just like, is that one of the most profound things I've ever heard? Or does it absolutely make no sense whatsoever?
I mean,
see what I'm saying?
Yeah, it really just kind of like rides that line. I think you could go either way. But in his own genius, I think it makes sense. You know, I think it all tracks.
Yeah, in his head. And that's the important part. Last moment here on the True Cinema is the art show. We kind of predictably end up at this art show for Lizzie that she's been prepping and preparing. Joe comes with the bird. Sean shows up. Lizzie's mom and dad show up. We get the whole bit about the cheese, which was just really, really great comedy stuff. I wish there was a lot more of that in this movie, because I thought it worked well with all the characters and their attitudes toward one another. And then the bird is set free, and the pretty heavy-handed analogy is put to rest for like the remaining 3 minutes of the movie, which was a delightful little walk between Lizzie and Joe. But I liked the art show at the end. I thought it was funny how Lizzie was just like so clear and concise with everybody. Like, thank you for coming to my show. Thank you for coming to my show. Like, she just consistently stressed out, and kind of made me stressed.
I mean, I'm with you. Even at the beginning of that, when all the cheese is out, she's like, that's too much cheese. Like, this is all going to go to waste, whatever. And then her dad shows up and brother shows up and just starts eating it all. She's like, you can't eat all the cheese. Like, you got to leave some from other people. It's like, well, is there too much or is there not too much? Because like, let him eat his cheese. You know what I mean? Like,
And she's like, Sean, this isn't dinner. And he goes, this is my dinner.
Yeah, I did like that
like,
line.
yeah, okay. Sounds good, dude.
That was a real solid line.
Yeah, I'm going with the cheese bit for my True Cinema. Look, it is a very unique and special movie that I think has a lot of kind of glowing parts that are good, but I'm just going to gravitate towards the John Magaro of everything, and the moment that we get everybody in the same room, we get that all-star cast interacting with each other over a very menial, quite hysterical thing that is taking place over the course of like 3 minutes.
Yeah.
That was just like my favorite part, and I think that was a very good culmination of using all the parts to the best of their ability.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna be in tow with you, because I think that's the part, like when the whole family is together there at the end, and it's like, oh, I really like your friend. She's gonna come over and check out my pots. The mom's like, they just said that to make you leave. Like, they don't want to come hang out with you. Like just seeing their dynamic, and again, obviously with Sean and all that kind of stuff, like. It's a bummer that it was in the trailer, but it is kind of the funniest thing that happens in this movie, the whole cheese sequence. So it's the thing that I enjoyed the most. So that's definitely going to be my pick as well.
I love it. Look at us. Who would have thought? Same True Cinema moment. Okay, we've got two A1 acts here. We're going to go with Michelle Williams, of course. It's kind of the star of this movie, which, is pretty crazy. Like, I think the last thing that I saw Michelle Williams in was The Fabelmans. So seeing her in this, like I said, I was just like, damn, I just kind of want to go back and watch The Fabelmans again. Like, I want to pull up some of her parts. I want to pull up the Judd Hirsch part where he talks to Sammy about like everything about art and life and how it pulls you in a million directions. I just want to like go back and relive that. Okay, here's what I've got for Michelle Williams. But I'm a Cheerleader, Prozac Nation, Dawson's Creek. I was unaware. I guess I've never seen Dawson's Creek, so I didn't know, but I was unaware she's in like 130 episodes of this. Did you know this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she's like one of the 4 main people for sure.
Oh, wow. Okay, so I'm slipping here. Dawson's Creek was just like ahead of my time. It didn't do it.
I mean, yeah, it was a good one.
Brokeback Mountain, Incendiary, Wendy and Lucy, Synecdoche, New York, Blue Valentine, Shutter Island, Take This Waltz, My Week with Marilyn, Oz the Great and Powerful, Manchester by the Sea, The Greatest Showman, Venom, Let There Be Carnage, Showing Up, and The Fablemans, like I mentioned. Just, if I'm going to be brutally honest, like just a pretty interesting filmography and resume here, minus Venom and Venom, Let There Be Carnage.
Yeah,
pretty brutal entries into her filmography.
Yeah, it's like one of these things is not like the other.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a real interesting pick. But hey, if I got offered a movie with Tom Hardy, I'd be all over it as well. I can't blame her.
That's true. Gosh, I think she's really good in The Greatest Showman. I like some of her songs. Of course, Shutter Island. There's lots of good things on the list. She's really great in The Fablemans. Of course, Oscar nominated for The Fablemans.
Yeah.
So they're like that kind of speaks by itself. I'm going with Blue Valentine because she is just really heartbreaking in that movie. And
who's her co-star in that?
Can't remember. Oh yeah, little guy named Ryan Gosling.
Ryan Gosling.
Yeah, this little guy. So I'm going for Michelle Williams, but also like Blue Valentine as a package is like one of the saddest movies literally ever. Like, do not recommend watching this if you're in any sort of emotional state of being.
Yeah.
Because it'll just wreck you. I've seen it once and I was just like, that's enough for the next 15 years. I'm
it's
covered.
Rough, man.
It's really rough. I do watch the ukulele scene like on YouTube like 3 times a week probably, where Ryan Gosling sings to her. I'm just like, oh, they were happy for 90 seconds. It was so fun.
They were happy. Well, I'll tell you what, we're going to have a really sad double feature here.
Oh, fuck.
I'm going with Manchester by the Sea.
Oh, tough.
That's a tough movie if you haven't seen it, but it's a very powerful movie. It's a very memorable movie. She's wonderful in it. Obviously, I mean, it's kind of Casey Affleck's movie to shine in, but she's great. He's got to have something to play against, and she does a wonderful job. So we're going super sad boy here on our Michelle Williams double feature.
We're taking the energy from John Magaro and we're just channeling it into our A1 acts here.
Yeah.
If we were going to double feature these, what's the order? Which one do you do first? Because I have not seen Manchester by the Sea, so I need your input here.
I mean, I don't know, man. Like, without spoiling it, like the Manchester by the Sea is real tough, man. Like, a lot of people have gone through divorce and stuff, but not a lot of people have gone through what happens in Manchester by the Sea.
God.
So I think it sounds weird to say, but I'd kick it off and warm people up with Blue Valentine.
Oh my God. Okay. Wow. I don't know if I'm ready for Manchester by the Sea.
I would not recommend it to you at all. I would not tell you to watch it.
Oh my God. Well, that's okay. That's tough. I'm probably going to watch it now just out of curiosity. So I'll warn you before I do. How about that?
Well, I just want the record to be said that I don't.
You tried to get me away.
Yeah. I'm curious to hear what you think, but I'm not. Yeah.
Oh gosh. Okay. Second A1 act, movies about artists. Now, Showing Up is a movie about an artist. We wanted to stick to like physical artists, like painting or sculpting or things like that. Of course, artists of any fashion. You could put Tar in here. Lydia Tar is an artist in her own way. You could put Boogie Nights in here. Dirk Diggler, an artist on screen. All sorts of options, but we're going to stick to the physical art here. So here's what I've got on the list. Showing Up, of course. Lust for Life, Frida, Girl with a Pearl Earring, Pollock, The Agony and the Ecstasy, Mr. Turner, Vincent and Theo, Van Gogh, Caravaggio, Basquiat, and Big Eyes. I've never seen any of these movies, Ben.
Oh, really?
At all. Nope. I mean, I've seen Showing Up, of course, but I haven't seen any of the other ones.
Yeah, I mean, there's quite a few good ones on here. My instinct is to go with Frida, starring Salma Hayek and Alfred Molina, Doc Ock himself.
Wow, okay, that's pretty good.
Really good movie about Frida Kahlo. And then if I can, I'm just going to give you a recommendation too. And Pollock is good, dude. It's Ed Harris. And
really?
Yeah, he's wonderful in that movie. So I say we go with the double feature of Frida and Pollock, but
I'll take that.
Yeah, some good stuff in there.
Oh yeah, I will absolutely let you make the pick for me. We'll go with that. Are we gonna open with my movie this time? And you're on the back end?
Yeah, Frida's a little more fun than
okay. Yeah, so we'll end with a little bit of fun.
Jackson Pollock,
that seems pretty fair. I like that.
Keep saying Pollock, yeah.
Yeah, Pollock. Awesome. Okay, those are A1 acts. Now we've got A24 ranking. We've got A through F24. Feel free to throw in some pluses, minuses, whatever you want to do. Do you want to go first?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, you're gonna go.
I'm happy to. Like, I feel like it's kind of the same as what's the last one that we watched? It was like When You Finish Saving the World, which is like,
that's fair.
It was fine, and I think I gave that a C. I think this is well done. I like Andre 3000, but it's middle of the road for me. So yeah, I'm just gonna go with the C24.
That's respectable. I get that. On my Letterboxd, I've been keeping a ranked list of A24 movies. So every A24 movie that I watch. So When You Finish Saving the World is at number 41 out of the 66 that I have seen.
Okay.
So that's a little context for you. So I put Showing Up at 57 out of 66. I think it has its qualities. It's just like not the thing I'm going to pick. It's just like not for me. And I think I respect it more than I enjoy it. And, I think that's okay to do with movies. And I think that is something that is hard, I think, for a lot of people to be like, this movie just wasn't for me, but I'm really happy if it's for you. Kind of in the age that we live in, everything has to be like a masterpiece or horseshit. That's not the case. So as is the case with this movie, like, I respect it. I think it's got great moments. I think it's got a really funny cast, or like a great cast and funny moments. But it's just not my kind of movie and just like wasn't quite my tempo. So in terms of the A24 library, I think I'm going to go with a C- 24 actually.
Cool.
I would have liked a bit more John Magaro, and
always.
I do think it is beneficial to the A24 library. I think it does extend that idea and the vision. Again, Kelly Reichardt has kind of found a studio home, and then, helps diversify that A24 that I think is still pretty strong in the public eye of like, they either make Everything Everywhere All at Once, which is a crazy Oscar-winning movie, or they just make movies that absolutely twist in the last 2 minutes. So I think this is really good and important to their catalog. So I think it's got its benefits there. But yeah, C- 24 for me on Showing Up.
I want you to start adding that to all of your reviews, no matter what. Just end it with, I would have liked a little more John Magaro.
Every no matter what it is, movie.
The next time you rewatch Titanic, you know what? Could use a little more John Magaro.
In a couple of weeks,
I loved it.
In a couple of weeks, when we talk about Talk to Me, I'm just going to be like, you know what? Movie was great, except I could have used some more John Magaro in that one.
A little more John Magaro would have just bumped it up a half grade. So
that's my new more cowbell, just more John Magaro.
I got a fever. All I need is more John Magaro. No, it's a good point. Also, I wanted to bring up our upcoming slate. We got a lot of new releases coming from A24 in the next month, between streaming and in theaters. Like we talked about already, Talk to Me, Problemista, Earth Mama, and Medusa Deluxe. I think all those are going to be in theaters at some point in the next month or two. We also have 2 streaming movies. We have The Deepest Breath about those divers. We have the Steph Curry documentary. We've got a lot of stuff. So all that to say, I hope you guys continue to hang out with us. We appreciate all your support. A lot of fun episodes on the horizon. It's going to be fun to dig into these new movies. But for now, we want to know what you thought about Showing Up. How does this compare to First Cow for you? Do you have a favorite Kelly Reichardt movie? Let us know. We're on Twitter and Instagram. We are at 24 minutes of A24. Also, we're on YouTube. Hopefully you're watching us there right now. It's probably the preferred way to check this out. You see our lovely faces. But yeah, subscribe, like it, hit the bell, whatever.
Can I say one thing before we get out of here, Ben?
Please, yeah.
We have pre-recorded next week's episode number 100. Big episode. First triple-digit episode.
Yeah.
We've lived it. We've experienced it, and shit went down. It was really fun. It's an A24 summer movie draft. We've done one draft before here on the show. We had 4 wonderful people on to draft with us, and things got really out of control. Do you have any teaser or anything you want to say to tell people, to get people to listen next week? Because I think it's probably one of our funnest episodes yet.
It is a lot of fun, but you get to witness me in real time make an enemy, which I think is a lot of fun. So check it out for that reason alone, because someone showed up as a friend and left an enemy, and I won't say who, but they know who they are.
That's a great teaser. It's true. It was a wild time.
That was good. I didn't even mean to step over that. Yeah, this is going to be super fun. The draft was a blast. And again, 100 episodes, kind of crazy, but this is awesome. So anyways, thank you everyone for your support. We really appreciate it. Thanks to everyone who signed up for our Patreon. That's been super awesome as well to see people continue to sign up. We just finished up all the Mission Impossible movies, and now in looking forward to the new Haunted Mansion movies coming out. We're covering movies based off Disney rides. We're going to pick different themes throughout the year. So kind of, if you're interested in hearing us talk about stuff that's not A24, that's the place to do it. Patreon.com/24 minutes of not A24. Is that what it's at?
Yeah, that's what it is. But every time you say it, you have to say it like Borat, and that's part of the stipulation.
Oh, okay. Well, I was unaware. I'll make sure to do that next time. But anyways, thanks everyone for your support. Really appreciate it. I'm Ben Lawhorn.
And I'm Ethan Simi. Spring break forever, bitches.